So like we're now that we are in the middle of this journey of the Joads, it's really very important that we understand this relationships that's happening between the chapters. I uploaded a video. Well, actually, I uploaded the lecture that I gave for B yesterday onto your Google Classroom, so you get an idea of where I'm headed with this novel. So I think it's important that just to briefly talk about this relationship. So we have the narrative, and then we also have the intercalary. Can you see that or no? Yes? No? Kind of?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Okay. So
Yeah, we could see it.
all right. Thank you. So the narrative is just like the plot. You know, once upon a time. You know, so that story is about the Joads, Tom, right? However, and I will post this on Google Classroom as well. But the intercalary or the inner chapters are about something completely different. It's really about like a commentary, if you will. It's a social, ecological, historical commentary. So it's almost as if the narrative, you know, chapters 2, 4, 6, it's like the story about the Tom and the Joads, right? But then the other chapters are like the people's story. So in other words, we have like two journeys. Actually, we have three journeys going on at the same time. We have the Tom and the Joads going on their journey, and then we have the people's journey. The other migrants who are also moving from Oklahoma to California. But can someone identify who the third character or the third person going on a journey in this novel? Nobody? Take a wild guess. No?
I don't know.
I got no clue.
Okay, so we have the Joads going on a journey, right? We have the people's story, the other people besides the Joads going on a journey. Who else is going on a journey as well?
It's the reader, Mr. Chalecki.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Let's go.
Nicely done. So in other words, all of us are going on a journey. We're going on a journey with the Joads. We're going on a journey with the people. And so we are all going together through this ecological, social, historical, personal, spiritual, maybe journey with all of them. So in other words, Steinbeck is inviting us to think about what does it mean? What does it mean for us to depossess everything that we own and move from a place that we have been there for hundreds of years, or let's say for 3 generations, and then pick up our stuff and get the heck out of Dodge and go to a brand new place where you don't know anybody, nobody knows you, and you're starting brand new, right? That's very, very challenging. And in a few years, 2 or 3 years, all of you will be doing that. Well, most of you will, or whatever. So eventually, all of you are going to be going to a place, to a college, a university, a culinary school, a fashion school, whatever you're going to do. Okay. So all of you will be doing that. All of you will have your Joad journey. And so I think it's really important to understand this relationship between the narrative chapters and the intercalary chapters. It's really very important. I posted, let me change this a little bit because maybe you should see it now instead of later. Am I making sense about what I'm saying, or do you need me to explain it again in a different way?
No, you make sense.
All right. Oh, you already have it. Okay. So can you open up the relationship between the chapters? It's in classwork. And so I think it's really very important. And I got this idea from the National Endowment for the Humanities, because every summer, the government invites teachers to create units on very famous American novels. And I came across this and I thought, what a great idea to kind of structure and organize our ideas about this. Because Steinbeck was criticized for including this kind of like people's narrative in the novel, and he snaps back. He says, wait a minute, there's a purpose, there's a reason why I did this. It wasn't because of, happenstance. I did this purposely. So these intercalary chapters function as a stage, if you will. They function as a platform where it's almost like the chorus. It provides a context, a condition to explain the Tom and Joad family journey. And so to ignore this very special relationship between the intercalary and the narrative chapters is basically to ignore the purpose of why Steinbeck writes this novel in 1939. So I think it's important that we dive deep into this relationship. So what I want us to do, you can do it in your groups, you can, however combinations you want to do it, it's up to you. But what I would like for you to do is kind of like explain the relationships between the narrative and the intercalary chapters in this novel. And I specifically selected chapters 11 through 19, which was based on the readings for today, to do that. So you can use your notes, you can look at the book, however you want to access that information, completely up to you. But I really would like us to that, and I wrote an example, so you get an idea of what I'm looking for. So let me open up my document. So it reads, Steinbeck, I'll read the directions a little bit. Let me get a chair because I'm not gonna bend over. So it reads, Steinbeck writes, you say the inner chapters, the intercalary, were counterpart. I'm reading the directions from the document you have. You say that the inner chapters were counterpoint, and so they are. that they were once pace changers, and they were that too, but the basic purpose was to hit the reader below the belt. With the rhythms and symbols of poetry, one can get into a reader, open him up while he is open, and introduce things on an intellectual level that he would not or could not receive unless he were open to it. It is a psychological trick, if you wish, but all techniques of writing are psychological tricks. Moreover, the Grapes of Wrath structure is very carefully worked out. So this is Steinbeck responding to critics about how he structured his novel. And he says, don't get it twisted. Like, I did this quite purposely. I wanted to have the Joad narrative. I wanted to have the people's narrative together as a way of having a critical conversation between these two, right? He is purposely forcing the reader to be a part of this triad, this conversation about land, about family, about government, about possession. He's talking about success, about the American dream, about the relationship between land and family. He's doing all of this within this text. And so for chapter 2, I wrote an example for you. You can keep that or not, whatever, as an example. So I wrote, although the drought and the dust bowl imagery conveys the idea of desolation, ironically, it is a place to begin a new life, because Tom, or anyone who finds herself or himself in this situation, can start anew, like just like the season of spring. As they say in layman's terms, when life gives you lemon, you make lemonade. McAllister, the prison Tom is recently paroled from, is alienated, estranged from civilization. The purpose of incarceration is for the government, civil society to straighten a man out in order to prepare Tom to reintroduce himself to civil society, to introduce himself to his family, and finally reintroduce Tom to Tom. So that's what I'm looking for. So I want you to examine the relationship between the narrative chapters and the intercalary chapters, and what does that mean? What's the purpose? What's the function of that relationship? So you can do that with your groups, or however you can do it as a club. However, it's up to you guys. But I think it's really important that we kind of unpack this this narrative relationship, and I love how Austin mentioned that we are the third person involved in this journey. So it's almost like a trio, like a triad. We're all going through this journey of discovery of self, right? A journey of discovering our lands, a discovery of learning our family, discovering our talents, discovering our weaknesses, right? Because you can't talk about your talents without talking about your weaknesses. So it's in that kind of frame mindset that I want us to go through as you're working through this. Okay. Any questions about that? Yes, no, maybe. Hello.
Hello.
So everyone understands what they have to do?
Does it do at the end of class or like homework?
Well, it's during class. That's why I'm stopping, so that we can do it together. Like, because we have to cover the chapters that we did for our reading. So you have to cover 1, 2, 3. Like we just have to do 4 notes together. Not notes, but like little commentaries.
Can you repeat that?
Sure. So in other words, the chapters that we covered from last class and that was due today, I just want us to kind of do the chapters that I left blank, to kind of think about the relationship between the chapters, the narrative chapters. Sorry, you probably can't see my whole face. The narrative chapters and the intercalary chapters. Yes? Do you understand?
What chapters did you leave blank?
It's on the thing, like the page that he uploaded.
Thank
On
you.
Google Classroom.
It's like it's every other
It's
chapter.
every other one. Are we doing these together?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
whole
yeah.
class doing it together.
Are
Yeah,
we doing it now?
Pardon me?
Are we doing it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm stopping.
Oh.
I'm talking and
The thing you just posted?
pardon me?
Is it the thing you just posted?
I think I just posted yes.
Or is it 11 through 18?
I couldn't whoever was talking couldn't hear them.
1 through 10 or 11 through 18?
It's 11 through 19 actually. But obviously the ones that are blank, that's the ones that you're going to be working on.
Do you want us to stay on the call and work on it, or can we like go with our groups?
Whatever, as long as I see people working together, just make sure that you put your names, if you're sharing share the document, and whoever you're working with, just make sure that your names are on it so I can give you proper credit for it.
Is this going to be like, are we not going to have like an exit slip? Is this what we're doing? Or are we
Actually,
still gonna
okay,
have-
I didn't think of it as an exit slip, but yes, absolutely, sure.
So could we get off this call and like go on a call with just our groups?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Have a good day.
Like you,
Yeah.
honestly,
We're gonna be here finish, huh?
I mean, I'll do it, sorry. What I'll do is I'll stay online if you have questions. You know what I'm saying?
Lucky, do we share the doc we're working on with our groups, or do we like work on one individual doc?
No. So in other words, who's that speaking?
Marissa.
Oh, okay. Hi, Marissa. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's say that you and Naomi want to work together on this, which I assume you do because you have been working together for the notes. So it would make sense to just share that document with each other, right? Or share a
Okay.
document with each other, and then start, inputting. And hopefully, if the notes are done well, you can literally just kind
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna be here if we need questions, right? Like you're not getting off the call?
Mr. Selecki, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Mr. Chalecki, you're muted.
Where'd he go?
You're on
Oh my
mute.
God.
So.
So, okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, in other words, Marissa, you could definitely, in your group, you can definitely use the notes that you've been taking and put it in there and just kind of make it work for that document.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay.
Wait, I'm confused. So there is like a question of the day. So are we?
I'm gonna delete that. As long as I see that you guys worked, I'm gonna delete that. I was doing too much.
Okay.
So I'm gonna delete that because hopefully if you do your notes, this document correctly, it covers that. Does that make sense? So it's like I don't want to give you double the work, right? So let me just delete that right now.
So we're doing every chapter, like every other chapter, not just one of them.
You're doing the only thing you're doing is the intercalary chapters.
Okay.
question of the day. Delete.
Oh, is everybody getting on? I left.
There we go.
Okay, he's still on it.
So yeah, I'm gonna stay here until 9:50. If you have any questions.
Stay on if we have questions.
I just realized that you can
Okay.
through your mic.
Oh, really?
Oh, can you guys mute yourselves so we don't have to hear conversations?
With the sass, Mr.
You're
Yes, makes sense. Okay. Thank you. Oh.
Wait, Mr. Schlecky.
Yeah.
Are we just like analyzing like are we comparing chapters and like analyzing it?
Well, who's that? Riley, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, Riley. No, you're not really comparing. I mean, yes and no. You know. Let me be more specific. In other words, I'm asking you to look at these chapters that they have a relationship and just describe it. So I wouldn't say contrast it, but ask yourself why did Steinbeck put these chapters together? So it's more like an analysis of structure. Like why would he pair these? Why would he talk about the Dust Bowl and then talk about Tom leaving the jail? Why would he talk about the bank being monsters and then him going to the family house? So like there's a reason for all that happening. And so I'm asking that you and your group analyze that relationship between the inner chapters and the narrative chapters.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you for asking.
you.
Mr. Shucky.
Yes.
So for the question of the day, is that just a copy and paste of like what we did with our group?
Well, the question of the day, I just deleted it because it's redundant, right? Because that's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So I deleted that. So I think the last part of your question is, yes, you can use, if your notes are what I'm hoping that they should be, right? They should kind of blend very nicely into this discussion about the relationship between the inner chapters and the narrative chapters. So you're just kind of describing that relationship between the two. Does that make sense, Jackson?
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chalecki, do we do all of them?
Oh no. Oh no. Just do the ones that were due today. You know, like you had to read from up to 19. So just do the ones that were, that we're working on today.
Okay, and can you work by yourself or do you have to work with your group?
This is Mia. Sorry. I thought it was somebody else. Sorry. You can work by yourself. Absolutely. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let me take attendance so that I could do it on my computer. Oh, I think she just signed on. Claire, are you there? Yes? No? Well,
Mm.